All right, hey, we're going live. Hey, this is Michael Jordan, AB Friendly Company, and we're getting ready to do an investigation on a bee removal. That's one of the courses that we teach here at AB Friendly Company, that it's a job and it's a skill set. So we do train people to do bee removal. So we had a phone call and somebody said, hey, we have bees in our porch. Can you come and look at it? So I'm going to just show you some stuff here real quick, and then we'll get into some, oh, there's a little bee. So they're here. Right, so, but we're going to get into some other things about it. That I have a sheet that we fill out that we give clients that talks about, we're $100 an hour. That we'll both agree on, like, how many hours we're going to spend on it. I usually tell them it's a 10-hour ordeal. Right, so we're going to be here for a whole day. So you're going to look at $1,000 for me to come. Now, sometimes we're only here for 3 hours and you pay about $300 to $500, right, for 5 hours. But 10 hours is the estimate we usually give. So this is about $1,000 to do a removal. And it could be more depending on what we encounter. And that's all in the contract, right? And also in the contract that I'll work with your contractor to rebuild, because I'm not a contractor, I'm a bee guy, right? So we do bee removals and bee installs. So those are some things to think of. So I'm going to come back. We're going to talk about what it all needs to be and what we're looking at here. So super cool. So we've got this phone call, and we brought our contract of kind of what we're going to do, but the people aren't here because this is like, I guess, a home for them in the summer. I guess their groundskeeper called them and said he was doing some maintenance and saw bees. So you see this pillar right here. It's on the ground all the way up, man. It goes all the way up to there. And right over there, that's where the bees are coming out, right at the rail. Up there, there's the rail. The bees are coming out. So this is a stucco pillar. And so when we first got here, we could see the bees coming up out of the top. You can kind of see the bees kind of hovering around. They're coming out. And they're coming up out of the top right there of the stucco. See, so they're darting in. So we're going to do some investigation, right? So we see the bees coming in up underneath this decking. So we got underneath the decking, and we pulled down some of the felting from underneath the decking and looked up underneath the decking. Right, so the felting came down and we looked underneath the decking. Right, so we notice there's no bees underneath here. That's right underneath the deck. But they're coming in out of this corner and out of this corner up here. You can see them. See the bees? So it's getting later in the day, and they're just coming in and out at a large level. So this tells me that they are in this structure, this pillar, but they're all the way between the decking at the top there and up to where the cap is on the pillar. Right, so the bees and stuff are there. Right, I can see them all up there. They're flying in and out. Right, so I know they're in this pillar up here. Right, so I'd get a thermal gun now, and I'm going to shoot a couple heat images so I know which side of that pillar those bees are on. I might have to bring in some scaffolding because I'll have to probably work on the outside. And just for my observation and the way the sun and the heat is that the bees are in this pillar all the way up at the top. There's a 4x4 in the center of this, and they've basically built from in between here and here, and they've built comb all the way down. And they've probably got 2 layers of comb, and they're probably, well, it's probably got about 3 foot of comb built by the time of the year. See, look, Carlonians. This is a Carlonian bee, right? By the population and the way it's going, I'd say that they're looking at a good growth. They're probably at about, I'd say about 7 to 9 pounds. You're probably looking at about 40,000 to 60,000 bees in there if the queen's laying. So this is a good little bee removal. We've come to this location. We know the bees sleep, right? We won't tell. So that's some stuff we're gonna have to tell the landlord of the facility, is that we know where the bees are, and basically we're $100 an hour. I'm going to list the equipment that we're going to use for bee rescue, and that they're going to need a contractor to rebuild the stucco and repaint, right? So basically what we're going to come in here and do is I'm going to cut a section out that's, by the way it looks, I'm looking at roughly 3 foot tall and 1 foot wide. So I'm going to cut a 1 foot by 3 foot section out of there, right on this side. And I'll be able to look in there to see what the bees are doing, and then slowly remove comb out. Make sure all the comb's out, scrubbing it all to get the scent out so no bees come return. And then I'm going to wire the comb in, what is called a cutout, into the box. So before you do a bee removal, right, you need to make sure that you should have insurance of some sort. You should get a good contract and some good understanding with the people that you're working with, that you are going to open up the walls, and that there's going to be some reconstruction and some cosmetic surgery to structures that are going to be done. And you want to be upfront with your price. And then you want to tell them everything about how you're going to go about the removal, how long it should take, worst case scenarios, best case scenarios, and kind of go over the whole thing with them. And then you want to give them the alternative that you can kill them, right? Because right now they're on this person's deck. They wouldn't have called if it wouldn't have been a noxious pest that they're worried about. And Orkin and other pest removal places do not do bee removals because of the federal mandate and some state mandates that bees are an agricultural business and that you can't kill them. So there is an alternative that if the beekeeper deems that it's unsalvageable, or that the homeowner's like, man, I'm never going to pay, and I'll just kill them, right? You tell them the chemicals to use to kill the bees, right? But you got to tell them also that it's almost like having a huge raccoon in your wall, because you can remember that colony of bees is the size of like a volleyball or like a beach ball, right? It's big. It's big like a basketball, that colony inside that wall. So it's the size of a raccoon. So if you shoot or you kill that raccoon in the wall by poisoning it, you're going to have to deal with 4 months of it stinking. Or until you cut out the wall to remove the carcass of the dead animal in the wall. Because when you get something dead in there, it poops, it pees, it rots, and it stinks. And you're going to have a colony of almost 40,000 bees, and they're dying. Not to mention, are they rotting and molding and all the water that's evaporating from them. And you got to remember that some of the honey that they're bringing in is not capped, so it ferments and rots. So you're going to have a rotting mess in there. And it's only going to be there, though, for about 6 to 9 months, and then winter comes, it's not going to be bad. But don't worry, the bees next year are going to smell that, and they're going to come in there and clean out that comb. And because the pesticide's gone, and it's already a refurbished home, they'll build twice as fast next year because you left that comb. So you're going to kill them this year, but next year they'll come back twice as much because of pre-made comb. So it's better to have someone come out and remove it and do a good job eliminating stench and problems. And I've seen some reoccurrence where after that stuff's rotted, right, then it rots and it causes mold, and then black mold, and then you have to take all sections of paneling and stuff out. So sometimes it can be really, really bad. So removing the bees is important, not necessarily because we're trying to save them, but we're going to try to save the homeowner a huge expense for long-term and long-run haul. That if we eliminate where these bees are coming in as a problem, they won't have a problem in the future with removal of the dead carcass bees, or bees coming back, because this is obviously a good place or the bees wouldn't be here. It's a good open setting. I mean, it's a wide open setting. I mean, it's a beautiful 3-story home, right? So, I mean, it's got pillars. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to give them a price, and we're going to hopefully go no more than 10 hours. It's probably a 2-day job because we'll have to go in there and remove everything out. We're going to Mox will set a beehive down here. Residual bees. We try to make sure over a 24-hour time period, because it's just getting late, and you can just see they're just starting to come in now. Right, so they're starting to come in at massive groves. Look at that. Right, because it's getting later in the day. Right. You know, they're going to have residual bees as we do this, because we're going to do this during the day. I'm not going to do this at night because I can't see. Right, and most of the bees are going to be here at night, but you can't see. So we're just coming in and doing an inspection. I got some video of it, and we'll do a layout for it. Thanks for watching. AB Friendly Company, Michael.